You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This special edition 1 episode is sponsored by Cisco, taking your business a level up. Let's get into it.
Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your guest host today, Logan Lyles, and we are live at the Ingram Micro ONE event. I've got two great guests with me today. Bryan Buckner, he is the Business Development Manager of Distribution at Cisco, and we've also got Nicole Dziedzic, Senior Vendor Business Manager at Ingram Micro. Thanks so much for being here today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, Bryan, we're going to start with you. You know, the Cisco Lifecycle Vantage is known for creating better relationships. Can you give us a little brief overview of what it does?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it's a great way to stay connected with your customers. Lifecycle Vantage is a free turnkey partner managed program that helps our partners stay in touch digitally with their customers to help maximize their recurring revenue, and just through an automated series of co-branded emails. We help them identify exactly where their partners are in the life cycle and making sure they're staying with that, creating that stickiness, if you will, with their partners and their customers.
I love that. That's a great point about stickiness. So we often hear Cisco talk about the digital experience and scale. You know, how are Ingram and partners utilizing this platform to accomplish that?
You know, that another great question. But, you know, if you think about it, over the last couple of years, the customer value is shifting from a one-time sale to a sale where it's not just about that one time, it's touching that customer throughout the life cycle. And Ingram and Cisco have come up with great ways to really focus and train their partners around customer experience and life cycle advantage. Ingram is leading the forefront, I feel, with just a strong collaboration and teaming around Lifecycle Advantage, making sure that's getting out to scale, and we're making sure we get that message out to everybody.
Yeah,
they're doing just a great job.
I love that, Bryan. So, Bryan, Nicole, I'll let either one of you take this next one. You know, which stage of the cycle do you often see businesses missing, and why is it really necessary?
Oh, sorry. I wanted to answer the other question.
Okay.
Can we
go back.
Yeah, we can go back.
Sorry.
For sure.
So we talked a lot about Ingram and Cisco collaborating together, and Bryan mentioned, you know, we have a really good partnership, and Ingram's leading distribution. So the way that we've really kind of taken Lifecycle Advantage with our partners is utilizing it for scale. So as customers start to go down these different ways of engaging with their end customers, and how do they touch these lower dollar renewals, we're using Lifecycle Advantage as that tool to kind of scale down the stack so that partners can reach all of their end customers regardless of the size of them.
Yeah, because it's always the 80-20 rule, right, with partners and their customers. They want to focus on the bigger partners, but then they forget that they've got little partners that they've got to keep that touch with. And that's how Lifecycle Advantages helps make sure they have that touch when they might not have time to spend on their customers.
Yeah, absolutely. It contributes to that scalability when they're able to even those out, right?
Yeah, just an extra arm.
Yeah, I love it. So which stage of the cycle do you guys see most businesses missing when it comes to this life cycle, and maybe touch a little bit on why it's necessary in addition to, you know, which one's being missed?
Yeah, I think, well, Lifecycle Advantage focuses on 6 key areas in the life cycle. But I think the number one main focus, they're all great, by the way, don't get me wrong, but the renewal journey is the most important, because that's where we help make sure nobody leaves money on the table. And we've just announced that we have commerce automation, where you can send an email out to your customer, but now you can add a quote to that customer. And it's really focused all about the low dollar renewals, making sure they're capturing everything they can. And Nicole, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of partners have early on adopted the renew kind of piece of the track of Lifecycle Advantage, but I think a lot of partners are missing adopt and how they successfully do adopt and how they do it with their smaller partners. So I'd love to see more partners start to utilize the different aspects of the track outside of just renew, especially with so many things there that they can, you know, click and choose what they want to use and not use and what's best for their business.
Well, and that adopt program is exactly what you said. Once you buy a product, that adopt journey helps you really focus on all the functions, the features, the benefits, making sure that partners or the customer is using every single piece of that. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure they're going from choosing Cisco to using Cisco to loving Cisco. And that's one of the features that help.
I love the way that you put that, Bryan. So we talked a little bit there about repeat and recurring revenue. Can you guys speak a little bit to how the program helps contribute to recurring revenue and a better customer experience at the same time? Oftentimes, those are going to go hand in hand if you talk about that loving Cisco piece, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so Lifecycle Vantage helps partners really capture recurring revenue in a couple ways. One, they make sure it reaches out to your partner and it gives you a welcome and it gives you some information around what you just purchased. It goes to adoption. So do you really understand everything that was purchased in that software solution, all through a digital touch via email? Expand to really, add additional things that may have been missed in that initial sale, and what else could they add on to it? And obviously then the renew. So the renew gives them a notification about 180 days out. So it gives them a lot of time to start to engage with that end customer, to make sure that that renewal is happening, to make sure that they have the budget, that they're renewing it on time without missing it. They don't have to have someone calling out on every single opportunity that they have for their end customer. They can do it digitally, and they can choose what they want to call out on by not having the tool reach out to them, and then they can choose what they want to digitally reach out to with them.
And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, Cisco has changed their rebates program. So now it's focused all about in-quarter renewals, and with this extra commerce automation touch for these partners to send to their end users, we can make sure that we're capturing every single dollar, because now every single dollar counts in the in-quarter renewal. So just another arm, again, like I talked about, just to make sure that we're capturing everything.
Yeah, on this point of recurring revenue and bettering the customer experience, it sounds like it's removing friction from the process on both sides, really, right?
It is. I mean, it eliminates having that manual touch. It reminds you that you have renewals due from a partner perspective, so that make sure you reach out to your end customer. And it is. It's a frictionless way to touch them.
Yeah, I love that.
It makes them feel special.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bryan, early on, you received your degree in psychology. I'm curious if there's a connection there in the way you think about this program creating a win-win for business. Is there a psychological aspect to this?
In my mind, it's all about creating that stickiness and keeping that customer happy at all times, right? And just by reaching out with that email and that digital touch, you're always being responsive to that customer, right? They're always feeling that you're paying attention to them. So, for example, if you sell a SmartNet contract and it's a 3-year contract, and you might not call that end user back for 3 years until it's time for the renewal, at least with Lifecycle Vantage, they can keep that digital touch, just still showing they believe in their customer, right? And they want to help them. And then plus, and make sure that they're not going to go shop you and go look for different competition.
I love that. So for both of you, Nicole and Bryan, if people want to learn more about what we've talked about today or connect with either one of you, what's the best way for them to reach out? Nicole, maybe you first?
Yeah, I mean, so if they want to learn more about Lifecycle Vantage, we have a very large team at Ingram that is extremely educated on the tool and how to get them signed up and really what the benefits are. So I would say they should definitely want to reach out to their market development team at Ingram. They can also reach out to myself, Nicole, and Bryan from Cisco, and we can get them to the right places.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. So one final question we love to ask all of our guests on this podcast, and that is, where do you see technology going in the next year? Nicole, we'll go ladies first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll talk just from a Cisco perspective, but I keep seeing, technology moving to more of a recurring revenue type model, more SaaS offerings, more software, really capturing that predictable revenue as it moves on into the future. So being able to do that and help our partners kind of pivot that way from a legacy hardware sale is going to become more important than ever.
Absolutely. Bryan, how about you?
100% agree with her. It's all about that recurring revenue and subscription. That's where we're going.
Yep, absolutely. We see that in every other area of our life, right?
Yep.
It's only
everywhere.
bound to be there in the business aspect of our life as well.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you both for being here. This was a pleasure to talk with both of you. Nicole, Bryan, thanks for being guests on the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right, folks, that wraps it up for this episode. If you like this episode and you have a question or you want to join the discussion, follow at Ingram Tech Soul on Twitter, and you can use the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro in Apple Podcasts or wherever you do your podcast listening.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. This special edition 1 episode is sponsored by Cisco. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast player.